I'm here with elder statesman of South Australian trotting and a living legend, Jim Hurley, and it is indeed my pleasure. Jim, thanks for your time and welcome.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're here and I'm here. That's the main thing.
Well, they tell me that come November the 3rd, you'll be turning the magic 90.
That's why I'm glad we're here.
Well, I suppose hard work has done all that, and you're still training?
Oh, yes. I'm only pottering around now with one horse.
And this is him behind us?
Sometimes two.
This is him behind us, Sacred Art, who's in today?
That's him, yes.
And his form's fantastic.
He's been very good this preparation. We've given him 6 starts. He's won 3 of them and 3 seconds. So it's been a pretty handy preparation.
As well as being fast, he's pretty friendly too.
Yeah, well, that's one of his attributes. He loves eating.
Well, Jim, going back into the past, of course, I can remember you driving at Wayville, and as you said yourself, that's a long time ago. What were some of your best horses in those days?
I've always got, of course, I was a part owner with my brother and sister of Minuteman. He was the top horse of our stables, or probably of our life. But I had a very soft spot for Red Peak, who was a relative of Minuteman. He was a accident-prone horse, but he had a terrible lot of ability, and he came at a good time for me.
Well, Minuteman, of course, won it in Dominion, and that's the pinnacle, isn't it?
Oh, yes. He won all the classics as a 3-year-old, then 4-year-old come out, won the Hunter Cup in Melbourne, and then topped it off with the...
I suppose getting one early, you think, well, you're never going to get one quite as good, and you probably didn't, but there's a couple that I can recall. Red Rattler was another one that went well.
The Rattler came later, yes.
Sorry, the Rattler.
Yeah, but Minuteman wasn't early. That was 1964.
He's finally got my notes down here. Yeah, well, that's right. Well, in the 1984 Inter Dominion, you had 4 in it.
Yes, that was the Rattler, and Otani won a heat. Yep. Or did he? Yes, I think he won a heat. And get out the way, son. And
he won a heat, and Gov's Pride. Yeah, he ran in the final but didn't win a heat.
Didn't win a heat, no. He was knocked over in the end of the back straight in the run out of the barrier. I had to then pull it because the horse that crossed me flattened his tyre. I couldn't follow him because he had a flat tyre, and I had to sit outside of the leader from there on. Of course, that took my chance of winning away.
In those days, it meant more sitting in the death, particularly around Wayville, didn't it?
Wayville, if you could control, depending how good the horse on the inside he was. If he was a superior horse, he was the winner. Yeah. But if you could control the run from the death, that was a winning move very often.
Now, why didn't the Rattler make the final? He won a heat, didn't he?
Yes, I think a horse from New Zealand interfered with us in one of the heats and knocked our points down. But he still did a good job. He won the consolation.
Yes, that's right. And, I mean, that's always been classed as a pretty good race.
Oh, yes. Well, very often the consolation in a lot of cases turns out to be a better race than the final.
Well, it does, I suppose, because you know more about it than I do, but sometimes they're frightened to make a move in the final because they're going to undo themselves. Yeah,
that's right, because some lose their heads, some keep their heads. It's like everything.
Jim, I've got a couple more written down here. Robert John and Oakland Raider in latter years, they were pretty smart.
Robert John was a very handy horse. A bit unlucky in the Derby, I thought, but apart from that, he certainly was good to us.
Now, you're also on the South Australian Trotting Club, as it was those days, committee for many years.
Yes, I was on the Trotting Club committee for about 12 or 13 years. I was on the Botra committee for 33 years. And I've been on a few other committees that are all tied up with trotting, because if you if you're a devotee of this industry, you're in it forever.
Well, that's right, and I mean, you know that by the names coming through, don't you? The Websters and Normans and the Jakes, they're all filtering through, aren't they, through the family?
Still going, yeah. Everybody, the family continues.
And Jim, they also tell me that you still shoe one or two.
Mainly this one, but sometimes I may help somebody out that has a shoeing problem, because I shudder when I look at some of the feet today. The modern farrier doesn't seem to pay much attention to dressing feet, and that's the biggest part.
Well, I would say because they're carrying a fair bit of weight, and we know ourselves, if the feet aren't right, you can't function.
Oh yes, well the feet are the foundation, and gait-wise, it's most important.
Jim, it's been an absolute honour for me remembering you at Wayville in those days to interview today, and thank you very much for doing it, and good luck with this fella later on.
Thank you very much, and you're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my honour, as I said, to interview trotting legend Jim Hurley.